All right, guess I'm the last one. So my name is Brendon and this is my fourth and final year on the team. And tonight I'd just like to talk about how I got started with track and what the journey has really meant to me. But to talk about my true track career, we have to go back to cross country. But before we go back to cross country, to start off, I've always been interested in track. In elementary school, I was a part of a small track club called the Chicago Flyers, along with Ryan Berkmeyer. And then I moved on to Herrick Middle School and participated in track there. And I had some success at Herrick, so I was excited to move on to the high school level. But in the fall of 2014, or for those who don't know, I used to play football from 3rd grade until 8th grade. But I began losing interest in football when high school came. So my mom approached me with a choice. I could either continue playing football, or I could join the cross-country team. And me being a know-it-all freshman, I just brushed that threat aside and thought I wouldn't have to do any sport. Until one summer day, I was woken up at 6:45 a.m. and my mom comes in my room and says, "Get your ASS out of bed. You're going to cross-country practice." That's when I realized
He's getting
she wasn't
emotional. He said thank you. That's a way of saying thanks.
So I crawl out of bed, throw on some random shoes, and my mom sped down Prince Street, and I was 10 minutes late to my first cross-country practice. And what we used to do is we used to do a 2-lap warm-up for cross-country. So I find my spot in there. I know nobody. But then I see Mitch Rapack, a lifelong friend of mine, and we immediately start bonding over our shared dislike of the program. Sipla would send us on routes, and Mitch and I would always find a way to make them shorter. Sometimes we walked it, sometimes we cut the route, or sometimes we would stop at McDonald's and wait a little bit. Things began to change for me in cross country when one day me and Mitch were doing our thing, walking a route near Hoopers Hollow Park, when I hear a monstrous roar. It was Sipple yelling at us from behind to get going. I was so scared that I sprinted the whole rest of the route and left Mitch behind to face the wrath of Sipple. That's when I realized maybe I did have it in me to run cross country. I just didn't have the will at the time. After the summer training had ended, the actual season began. Our first meet came, and I was not so excited. Me and Mitch ran the race together, and when it came time to sprint to the finish, I passed about 50 runners, including the current school record holder in the 2-mile. So you tell me who's the better runner. It was obvious I had not run as fast as I could because of my huge finish. And my next meet was at Detweiler because I couldn't make it to the St. Charles meet the week before. The race at Detweiler began similar to my previous meet, but about 30 seconds into the race, I said, "Mitch, I'm sorry, but I'm going to run this race on my own." I ended up running 2 minutes faster just by leaving Mitch. After that meet, the following week, I was approached by a junior who I had never talked to in my life on the team. He comes up to me and says, "Lockerbie, you're running with me from now on." And I'm thinking, who the heck is this guy? His name was Ryan Cantlin, and from that moment on until the end of the season, Ryan made me keep up with him on every single run. On routes, Ryan and some of the other guys were just chatting it up while I'm barely catching my breath. By the end of the season, I had dropped 4 minutes in time to finish with a freshman PR of 17 minutes and 34 seconds for the 3-mile. I tell Ryan all the time how he was a real influence in really getting me going with a serious training style. After cross country had ended, it was track time. I trained with my sprinters my freshman year because that was the only track life I had ever known. My freshman year was pretty successful, and I was happy with how it went as a sprinter. As the season was winding down, I was selected to be in the attempting to break 5 feet at the distance night under the lights meet. From absolutely no distance training that year, I really didn't know what to expect. I ended up running a 4-minute and 52-second mile, and after I crossed the finish line, I knew that was my last day as a sprinter. I would say my true high school running career began that night, as that's when I realized what I could truly accomplish over the next few years. Over the coming seasons, I started training with real mileage and a serious work ethic. I was fortunate enough to be an all-state athlete in track, and even have the opportunity to run in the national cross-country race. But something that never changed through the years was the passion that I have for this sport and my teammates. It's no coincidence that track guys are some of the closest friends in the school. When you and your teammates are going through a tough workout, you're all sharing that pain, and you're not alone. And although it's sad to leave the program, I know it'll be left in good hands with the guys we have right now. Last week at the freshman JV conference meet, the passion was unreal. A guy that comes to mind is Elijah Chen. When I saw him running back and forth, cheering his guts out for every single guy, it really made me proud of what the future of our team holds. That dude has serious passion. Every season, our team usually has a theme, and my favorite theme is one that I wasn't even there for. In 2013, the cross-country theme was a passionate pursuit. I think that is just about the best possible way you could sum up cross-country or track in just a couple of words. And although we are only here for 4 years, the drive, the commitment, and most importantly, the passion for the program is with us forever. Thank you.